dear delegates, student officers, members of the press and admin teams, heads of press and heads of admin, honorable advisors, esteemed guests, our cherished Mr. Derline, fellow members of the Secretariat. I am absolutely honored to be addressing you today. The day where, as Mr. Christopoulos said, over 500 students from 9 different countries have joined us here at Anatolia, not only to discuss some of the pressing issues of our world, but also to form friendships and ties that will bind this world closer together. Before I start, I wish to acknowledge the great source of inspiration for this speech was an address given in 2004 by Barack Obama. 2 truths, 1 lie. That was the way the icebreaker in my first MUN conference started. When my turn came, I answered. I am a big Harry Potter fan, I love politics, and I have 2 half brothers, the one living in Russia and the other one living in Toronto with his Iranian mother. The lie? Harry Potter. Having 2 half brothers in 2 different continents, cousins in the US, and my father traveling all around the globe, even before MUN, I felt connected to the world through my family. But after all those MUN conferences, this link is now stronger than ever. I am sure all of you experienced MUNers have met somebody in an MUN conference whom you can truly call a friend. And for those of you who haven't, you will probably do so very soon. Above all, this is what MUN gives us. It's one of those rare occasions where we realize we're not that different. In one of those conferences, I met a Turkish boy named Sarp, whom I can truly call a friend. At some point, we fell into a discussion about our ancestry, and I realized, just as he has Greek blood, I have Turkish blood too. My own great-grandfather was a refugee from the Turkish city of Konya, or Ikonia, who just happened to land on the shores of this city at the heart of northern Greece. And yet, we forget. We hear these words spelled out again and again. They, the refugees, the immigrants, the politicians say, they're stealing our jobs, they're terrorists, they're bringing drugs, diseases, they. But we should not forget, not long ago, we were they. So what about you? Let us do a show of hands, okay? How many of you have a parent, grandparent, or great-grandparent who had been, at some point in their life, an immigrant or refugee? How many of you have a relative who is an immigrant or refugee? How many of you have had somebody you could call a friend whose parents have been immigrants or refugees? As you can see, not that long ago, they, the immigrants, the refugees, could have been us or our friends. Why are we then labeling them as others? We should never forget, we are all human, part of the same global family, and we need one another to survive and thrive. Yet politicians continuously try to divide us through the politics of fear and paranoia. And in such an interconnected world, this kind of politics cannot be constrained within the borders of one country. I particularly remember the story of Ilan, a Sudanese girl representing the USA at time in The Hague. 3 days before the start of the conference, the president of the US, the head of the very state she was representing, had issued a travel ban which labeled her country a source of terrorists. He barred her entry in his country and thus jeopardized Ilan's dream of applying to and attending US universities. And one may ask, what does this have to do with me? Why should I? Aren't there other things I have to worry about? But it is precisely this lack of empathy that perpetuates the world's problems. When a Sudanese girl's dream of applying to US universities is jeopardized by the politics of fear, that matters to me, even if it's not my sister. When a child in Venezuela is ridden in bed with malaria and does not have access to medicine, that pains me, even if it's not my brother. When a protester in the streets of Barcelona or Venezuela or Russia is beaten by the police, that threatens my civil liberties. When a Rohingya mother in Myanmar has to choose between fleeing her home or being raped, that makes my life cooler, even if it's not my mother. After all, despite all those who want to divide us, we are all part of the same family. And if someone in this family is in pain, we are all in pain. And if someone in this family is happy, we are all happy. In the end, this is what MUN is about. It's not about resolutions or speeches or best delegate awards. It's about empathy, friendship, and understanding. So take a chance, step out of your comfort zone, and